Kakul Saydon can be very difficult at times, but not in terms of mechanic, but due to sheer amount of random patterns and attack he does at the worst possible times, especially in Gate 3. After browsing to Reddit comment section and lurking in a few streams, I have noticed where most players struggle, so I decided to make 23 tips video to help you clear the raid and minimize the RNG. In Gate 1 during Simon Says mechanic at 85 bars, there is an easy way to distinguish emotes. Lying on the ground, flexing, pointing and chesting is how I like to call them. When he turns away from you, always use lying on the ground emote unless he's doing it, since it's the easiest emote to distinguish. In Gate 1, during dice mechanic, most people forget that there is a set pattern in which order cards come out. Always line up away from the boss in a horizontal line. The easy way to understand is this: if one player is free to move, first card will always match that player, while second card is the other symbol of the same color. The other two cards are random. When three players can move, first two cards match the color of the dice, while third matches the imprisoned player. In Gate 2 during Find Cuckoo mechanic, the easy way to know when to move away from the hammer is to listen to the boss. As soon as he starts yelling, you can dodge away. If you are struggling with the DPS, use Nineveh before you go into the maze mechanic. After you complete the maze mechanic, you regain around 85 to 90% of the sidereal meter back, which fills up in time for pizza mechanic. During maze mechanic in Gate 2, the easiest and fastest way is to use Discord screen share. But if you're not comfortable joining Discord with random strangers, then the best way is to type really fast in the chat or ping close to the player in which direction to move. You have 2.5 minutes, which is more than enough to do it manually. For pizza mechanic in Gate 2, you need to pay attention to the HP bars of the boss, and as soon as you reach the threshold of 55 bars, if you are a raid leader, be ready to precast Inanna, and if you are not a raid leader, be ready to look direction of the pizza rotation as it appears and disappears very fast. Every time Mini Cuckoo flies away, instantly look away from the big boss as he will fear you. He does that every single time when Mini Cuckoo flies away and does one of the 3 bombardment patterns. If you want to avoid hammer yellow patterns that knock you off of the map, you can bait him to use grab by standing close to him in a range of the grab. He will almost always prioritize grab if multiple players stand close. If you are confident in noticing the grab and dodging it, it is a better option than hammer attacks which knock you off of the map. In Gate 3, the boss will always spawn 2 towers before the Mario. Both Mario 1 and Mario 2 players should use one to prepare meter and destroy the second one. Leave the second tower for when Mario begins. Underneath their HP, the yellow bar indicates how much time you have before tower explodes. This way you can avoid using flame tower that deals damage to transform you into a puppet, which leaves you full HP and without the need to waste a potion before entering. Other 3 members can then safely destroy the tower after. This works for all 4 Marios. After Mario 2, instantly destroy both of the towers as they appear. If you are not a swiftness class, use Sprinter's Rope during curtain phase to dodge hooks and saws on your way to stagger the boss. Trust me, it helps a lot. If you get HP reversal before showtime, stop the DPS, deal with the reversal and then drop the boss to 90 bars. During my runs as a raid leader, I found an easy pattern to cast Inanna early and before the bullet phase, which is crucial to not wipe. We group up at 6 o'clock. 3 of them run to the left, while I run to the right alone. If I don't have target above my head, I just simply walk into the inner safe zone and cast it then. If I get the target, I drop the burn outside, dash in during the inner safe zone, cast Inanna, and then quickly use my second movement skill to dash out and drop the second burn outside. If your Inanna is expiring fast, it means that people are getting hit a lot during bullets. You still need to focus on dodging, and the more you get hit, the faster you deplete Inanna aura. If you are a Mario 3 player, use the last yellow donut pattern to prepare your meter. Get hit by it on purpose, which will trigger the lasers. Then position yourself the opposite side of the group and be ready to run clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever your party decided, for the second phase of showtime. After Mario 4, if you fail to stagger the boss, you can continue with 3 people if your DPS is good. You can technically solo bingo phase, so don't get discouraged after you lose 1 or 2 players after Mario 4. It is still doable. For bingo phase, just use bingo tool to make your life easier and you don't have to stress about failing it. Getting this far and failing it because you miscalculated the bingo will be very demotivating. But if you really don't want to use the bingo tool, then for your sake I hope that you understand how the mechanic works and that you can calculate the position of the bombs ahead of time, while also pinging those locations for other players and dodging all of the attacks and patterns the boss does. Now couple ultimate tips that were wiping my group and gave problems to everyone else. Manage your meter properly. If you go above 50%, move away from everyone and do not hit people with the laser. It is your responsibility to move away, not the responsibility of other 3 players to dodge it. When Mario starts, stop DPSing the boss and focus on clearing everything off of the map while dodging the boss. In most cases you will have a flame tower that does not have armor reduced and 2 towers that needs destroying before you go into the curtain phase. Your MVP won't mean anything if you keep wiping and you cannot clear it. Create your group with minimum of 1 ranged DPS class that can safely clear white towers without taking meter, and minimum of 1 melee DPS class with a fast and reactive counter skill. Recommended setup is 2 ranged DPS classes, and if you have a paladin then the other melee can be whatever it fits, as paladin should hit every single counter. Most important counter to hit is when the boss jumps on a ball. Not countering this has wiped my group so many times, as he did it during the Mario preparation and targeted the player that was a puppet, knocking him away and killing him. Gate 3 is heavily reliant on individuality, as mechanics are easy since you can practice all the 4 Marios in Trixion. One small mistake wipes the whole group, so do not greed the damage on the boss while you should be dodging and avoiding attacks. If you're Mario 2 player and you see Mario 1 player struggling to transform as he's getting knocked around, simply adapt fast and try to transform instead and enter the portal. It's better to shuffle Mario order a bit than completely wiping. Use Purify rune on one of your low cooldown abilities. This has saved me so much potion usage due to the amount of burn damage you receive from pretty much everything. If you're transforming into a puppet for Mario, starting from Mario 2 there are hooks coming from the top left or the top right corner. You need to pay attention to that yourself. Also, if you are late with transforming into a puppet, don't stress too much about throwing Q on the flame tower or dropping gifts. Your main priority is getting into that portal. If you are not on the voice with your group, you can see for yourself which color balls you need to destroy by having this party layout that shows all the buffs and debuffs for each player. Simply look for debuff icon on one of the 3 players and see which color is it for yourself, if your team is too busy DPSing the boss instead of writing which color balls to destroy. Overall, the Gate 3 is very focused on the individual efforts and less on team efforts. A lot of the times the boss will do some very stupid RNG patterns during the worst times. Like for example doing the laser fear attack during the Mario entrance, feeding the puppet player and stopping him from going in. There's literally nothing you or anyone else can do to avoid it, so don't get discouraged by these types of wipes. If there is one player in the group that keeps failing the same thing over and over again, simply call for a raid quit and replace that player. I know it's harsh, but that person should go with a learning party first instead of wasting your time. I stream daily on Twitch, so feel free to drop by and watch me do cuckoo on 3 characters weekly. Who knows, maybe you'll learn something new. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.